I'm Dave Greenwood, and this is Overcoming Distractions. If you are an adult with ADHD, a busy professional, an entrepreneur, a high achiever, or just need some strategies to navigate your adult ADHD, you're in the right place. Who am I? I'm an entrepreneur with ADHD and the author of 2 books, Overcoming Distractions and Overcoming Burnout. I coach and mentor people just like you, and together we navigate the ups and downs of adult ADHD. From getting out of our own way to helping people just like you thrive in the workplace. That's what I do. Want more info on working with me? Hit overcomingdistractions.com. Ready? Let's get to today's podcast. All right, everybody, what's going on? It's Dave. It's Overcoming Distractions. And if you're that busy professional, entrepreneur, solopreneur, executive, and you have adult ADHD, you're in the right place. This isn't really the place for kids or teenagers, although you're certainly welcome. But this is the place, if you've listened for any period of time, where you, the busy person with ADHD, can hang out for a few minutes and hopefully get thinking. So, anywho, all right. About a year and a half ago from today, I wrote or published Overcoming Burnout. I was writing it long before that, and I had the opportunity to spend some time with those busy professionals, ADHD or not, that quite frankly were just at the end of their rope. And burnout is a tough thing to go through. It takes a considerable amount of work to dig yourself out of burnout. And I know, because I've been there, throw in a little ADHD, and I can tell you it is a tough place to be. And if you've gone through burnout, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I talked with all types of people, wedding planners, executives, entrepreneurs, people in marketing, and I think I got a pretty good idea, not only what burnout feels like, but what it takes to recover. Overcoming burnout, as I like to say, was a kind of a street smart approach to recovering from burnout and hopefully living a life without it in the future. But the term burnout, I feel, is thrown around somewhat wildly, especially on social media. Everybody's trying to get their likes and everything else. And as you'll be surprised to hear from me once again, I know there's some misinformation out there. I have seen people on social media, say, I was so burned out, so I went away for a long weekend and, sat by the pool and I feel great now. Sorry, people. That's not burnout. That's stress, and it sucks. Don't get me wrong, but it's not burnout. And stress and burnout, obviously, if you're going through either, it does suck, but there's a difference. So I want to take an opportunity to walk through some of the differences between your good old-fashioned stress and burnout, because I think they're significant, and it's wise for you to understand the differences so you can tackle these accordingly if you're just feeling a bit off. So let's break down some of the differences between stress and burnout. Let's just get right to it. Let's start with the definition, okay? And I know there's many definitions to various things when it comes to mental health. But when it comes to stress, it's a natural response to even a perceived or real threat or demand or pressure or tough situations, things going on in your life. It can be triggered by various situations such as work pressure, deadlines, life events, unexpected challenges, my car broke down, I'm nervous about work, and of course, our ADHD stresses us out, right? Otherwise, you might not be listening to me right now. So procrastination and other ADHD-related traits can also trigger stress. And I can't tell you how many people that of you that I have talked to and worked with, that when we come down to kind of what's going on, we're procrastinating and we're stressed out. Now, I will say this. Stress is temporary, and it often, believe it or not, often motivates us individuals to take some type of action. So, all right. When we define burnout, burnout is more of a chronic state of physical and emotional exhaustion. It's a result of prolonged exposure to those stressors, most notably in the workplace. So think about it. Long periods of stress, unresolved, can result in burnout. So yes, one does lead to the other. That definition is also characterized by feelings of overwhelm, fatigue, a sense of depletion, and also a wide range of physical symptoms, as I saw. And it feels like there is no end. And for many, no matter how much sleep we get, we feel the same the next day. When you're stressed out, you might be able to get a couple good nights sleep and kind of get your energy back. So when it comes to the duration of these two, stress, it can be short-term. It can last for a brief period, maybe in response to those specific events. It's typically, you can manage it with some effective coping strategies, stress management techniques, exercise, meditation, just chilling out, taking your paid time off, what have you. It could lead to heightened alertness and increased performance in the short term, as we just mentioned. So, in short, sometimes stress can get us over that finish line, right? ADHD, working late, sound familiar? Working on deadlines, right? Burnout, when it comes to duration, it's persistent, it's long-lasting, it's often just develops over an extended period of time. We don't get burned out really quickly. It's difficult to overcome without significant lifestyle changes, and even some kind of targeted strategies. It can result in prolonged decline in physical and mental health. And I interviewed many people who had major physical and mental challenges because of burnout. One particularly, where a healthcare executive actually had a heart attack. That's how burned out he was. So guess what? We just alluded to this, but if you spend years working last minute, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get burned out over those years. So, and that's why those of us with ADHD really need to tackle this before we get full-blown burnout. So, all right, let's talk about kind of the differences in burnout and stress symptoms. So when it comes to stress, it's tension, anxiety, maybe you're a little irritable, maybe a little road rage, okay? I wonder if that's in the DSM-5 for ADHD, road rage. Maybe it should be. So, difficulty concentrating, making decisions. Some of those physical symptoms are like headaches, muscle tension, maybe a little change in sleep patterns. Maybe you are kind of waking up at 3 a.m. and freaking out a little bit. When it comes to burnout and the symptoms associated with that, now we're getting into cynicism, and you're getting detached from your work and even your personal life, your personal responsibilities. Resentment, you're starting to get pissed off at everybody around you. You start feeling ineffective and a reduced sense of accomplishment, like I can't do anything right, or I'm not getting anywhere. I haven't made any forward movement, whatever it is. So, and exhaustion that extends way beyond physical tiredness, which affects your motivation, your engagement in not only work activities, but the activities that you actually love. And as I mentioned, many people feel there is no way out. One person I interviewed for Overcoming Burnout, speaking of engagement, I asked, what is the first sign of burnout? And he said very quickly, when you stop doing the things you love. So if you stopped engaging in the things you love, then you may be on a path to burnout. All right, let's talk about differences in the cause of stress and burnout. And you know what? I'm gonna pause for 2 seconds here and say I am not what I would call a mental health professional. I'm not a doctor. I don't have some degree in stress management. I'm just telling you the differences in the people I've interviewed and worked with and spoken to about the issue of burnout. So let's just make that clear. Stress, it can be caused by various factors, those work demands, those life changes, financial pressures, maybe your relationships. It's often a natural and adaptive response to challenges. I think experts might tell you that your body naturally goes to a stressful point in certain situations in life. But again, it's manageable with appropriate coping mechanisms, exercise, mindfulness, getting out, having great relationships, that type of thing. So burnout, when we're talking about cause, is just bringing stress to a whole new level. And it is the ultimate in stress, if you think about it. It's associated with prolonged exposure to chronic stress, such as that excessive workload day after day, week after week, month after month. Unrealistic expectations, both of maybe your employer, yourself, other people around you. Maybe you're a caregiver. Maybe you have an aging parent, or you have children that have their own challenges. All right. We don't often talk about that, but when we talk about burnout, everybody's obviously talking about that horrible work environment, which is massive when it comes to burnout. But I don't think we consider all the things that we bring to burnout. And many people get to the office and they're already burnt out before they even start working. So burnout, when it comes to cause, is also often linked to a lack of control over not only work, but other parts. And that's why I'm always just beating the control drum every single time I can. Because those of us with adult ADHD who are busy professionals running businesses, big jobs, need to be in control, or we're just going to get run over by ourselves. So also unclear job expectations, poor work environment. Those are some of the causes we associate with burnout. And then, of course, let's just go right to ADHD, right? Bad habits such as poor time management or energy management, no boundaries to speak of, saying yes to everything, people pleasing, procrastination, always being late and never fixing the problem, just to name a few. And I don't know if that sounds like ADHD to you, but it sounds like ADHD to me, right? So it can also result from a mismatch between your values and the values of your career or your job or the company you're working for. You may not align with the values that are in your job or the company. And now you're having some, quite frankly, internal struggle over what to do next. That can be exhausting. All right, the impact of stress and burnout. Stress, it can affect your well-being, performance, but as we've said, it's generally fixable with that adequate rest, the stress management techniques. It can lead to short-term challenges, but it doesn't necessarily result in long-term negative consequences unless you don't address it. So when it comes to burnout and the impact, it is a profound impact on your overall functioning, your physical, your mental health. It's associated with your job performance declining, increased absence, you're calling in sick or you're coming in late, strained relationships, not only in work, but maybe with your clients and personally speaking. It can contribute to more serious health conditions, as we have already mentioned a couple times here. And when it comes to ADHD, our executive functions just go down the toilet. Day after day, we can't get out of our own way. And I will say this isn't just totally ADHD related, right? If you're burned out and you don't have ADHD, your executive functions are going to suffer anyways. So, all right, so let's chat about recovery and living a life with less burnout or no burnout. When it comes to stress, like I said, we can manage through those lifestyle changes, get to relax, those effective coping strategies. It often requires identifying and addressing the specific things that are stressing you out. And I recommend very highly, if you're stressed out, hit the gym, go for a walk, go get a massage, hit the yoga studio, go hang out with friends for a night on the town, get that, interpersonal relationships going. If you're going to go to the gym, don't just go once and think it's going to be some miracle magic wand, all right? You got to go. You got to make it a habit. So go book a long weekend away or book that vacation you've been putting off. So many of us just blow off our vacations or don't use our paid time off. So many times if you're stressed out, there are some short-term solutions like these. And maybe you just got to get to the end of that massive project at work and then maybe take a long weekend. Sometimes when it's just stress, good old-fashioned stress like your mom and dad used to talk about, you can you can kind of mitigate it. So burnout, on the other hand, requires a significant break from those things that are stressing you out and the ones that are contributing to burnout. It involves a reassessment of priorities, establishing boundaries, seeking support from a mental health professional, or at the very least, a mentor or maybe a coach that not only knows ADHD, but burnout as well. So, and the only way to recover from burnout is to, I'm going to say it again, be in control of it. And that may be a hard pill for you to swallow. But as we have mentioned here a few times when I've talked about burnout, we're the co-founders of our burnout. We had a role to play in our burnout, and that is just a fact. If you're looking at social media posts and you see burnout is not your fault, I'm sorry, that is just not the full picture. It's not entirely true. So recovering also, may require a change in your work environment, your responsibilities, your career path, your job, the company, to actually sustain living free from burnout. And we must get better at managing our time, energy, managing our commitments, the overall stress that contributed to it, your health and wellness, whether that's physical health, eating, taking time for yourself, and procrastinations that you engage in so frequently. And again, another one of my favorite words is clarity. You need to be clear on what is actually going to solve your burnout. For many, it's going to take a massive change, such as burning the boats. And I have a whole chapter in Overcoming Burnout about burning the boats, where many people, they just couldn't make their current situation work, and they just literally needed to do a 180 in their life. It is a good idea also, if you want to recover, is to work closely with somebody that can help you sort these challenges out and help you make some sound decisions. Because I also think when we're burned out, we have tough times, as they say, seeing the forest through the trees and getting out of our own way. And we really need somebody where we can safely have those discussions and work out a strategy. So now, recovering from burnout could start with a Caribbean vacation, but it is not going to end there. You're going to have to make fundamental changes. So you just don't have to live like this anymore. But that vacation is a great starting point. I'll say this. I have specific strategies in my book, Overcoming Burnout, and you can find that on the website. So I hope I have, in my street smart way, gone through the simple differences between, our old-fashioned stress and our burnout. If you want somebody that you can meet you where you are, you can book time with me. Whether your ADHD is stressing you out and you need some strategies, or you just feel completely burned out, we can work together. I'll meet you where you are. So, overcomingdistractions.com. You can find that. You can find other resources. And I hope that helps. So, all right, everybody. I'll catch you next time.